On this spinning sign we're going to use the brain teaser blocks. It's the 3D puzzle, and this is at Dollar Tree. And what's really cool is this comes apart just like this, and it has a thread in it. We're going to clip that thread. Now once you've clipped that cord, you can see the hole that ran through there. So some of these are going to have a hole in them already. Now this is really easy. I need 6 that have the hole going through them, and as you can see, some of these, the hole is going sideways because it was on a turn, and we want the ones that are going straight through. So I ended up with 6 that do have the hole drilled right through the center. And this is going to be really simple because now I can just slide these onto my skew. I'm going to paint these blocks, and I'm going to drill a hole and asphyxiate that, and I'm going to glue these little chunks together because I want mine to rise up. So I begin sizing everything up and glue my 3 pieces together and put my skew there. Before I paint it and get everything ready, I wanted to make sure of how long I want my dowel to be. So I'm going to clip that off. As you can see, it only took about half a skew to make, and I have a lot of difference left over at the top. Okay, so using my paint marker, I'm writing spring. And then on this one, I'm going to put autumn. So on the 6 blocks, I put spring, autumn, summer, and winter. And I did complete the letters on each one of the blocks, even though some of them are duplicated. But what a fun project this was, and it turned out lovely. Now I've also found me a wooden bead, and I cut off the difference. So I'm going to go ahead and put my letters back on. So now we have our spring. We can put our wooden dowel atop. That's just to keep it from. Now we have our spring. We have our autumn. We have our summer. And we have our winter. Let's paint us a bunny sign that is going to be easy and fun. So I'm using the Beware sign because I like this little cutouts on the side. It makes it look old-fashioned. And I put masking tape on there because I might use this later on. And I'm going to flip it over and paint this side. You may want to do like a brown, maybe even a black or gray, whichever you like for your background on this particular bunny. Now that I've painted my board and the elephant, we're going to take our black magic marker and just lay our ruler there and make it like slats. And try not to be perfect on these. Just try to make them the shadow thereof. We want it to look old-timey. So I'm only going to go 2 over because the bunny's going to be coming over here and all that will be covered on this side. Now I will do a partial line up here at the top, not going quite halfway down. Now to make my bunny's head, I'm going to use one of the spools. This is about 3.5 inches. And I'm just going to do this for the circle effect. And I am using like a chalk pencil. And for his ears, I'm going to use the ruler again. And I want to stay away from the very top. I don't want it to be quite up there. And I'm just going to draw me a line there. We know his ears aren't straight, but just so we know where they're at. And then this one, we're going to do it a little bit shorter, but angled. And we're meeting it right here where the other one is. We're just going to kind of slightly angle, pretty close to that line, but not just right. And that's just going to give me a variation. Okay, small mark there. Now, for his body down here, we've got his head. We need his shoulder to be slightly broader. And you don't have to be perfect, but kind of sketch it out. We're just angling his little body, make him a little bit chunkier there. Okay, now up here at the ear, we're going to round it. And then this is going to be coming straight upward, just like that. All right, so here on the ear, let's make this ear come up like this, and maybe bring this around and inward, not completely straight. On this ear, this is looking pretty good. Let's kind of bring this around like so. Then bring this angle into it. Let's try to round that upward like so. And we're going to bring this around just like that. Okay. Okay, so in correction, we've got our round circle. That'll give us our placement. And we've got our body. So go right here at the ear. Come way out. And then inward. Below where we made that original mark. Then bring this outward. And that should get our bunny looking a little bit better. And then these are just chalk marks. The paint will cover those up, but these on the outside, I need to make sure we get those off. Make sure, take those lines out so you can see what's going on there. Now you can take that mark out, take this mark out, and I'll take that round off. Okay, now we've got our bunny sketched out. Now it's just a matter of painting all of that area white. And that's all you're going to do is just put a base coat of the white. One thing to bear in mind when you are painting your bunny, you do not have to be plaster perfect on your paint. Just get it in that area and don't be heavy per se. You just get the paint in those areas, because that gray that I used is going to help with my shading. If you do a brown, then you may want that brown to bleed through as well. And as you can see, I'm not trying to be heavy. I'm just trying to paint my outline here. And we can clean a lot of that up with our shading. Okay, now it's time to put some detail on our bunny. And I'm just going to take my black magic marker and just kind of go around the edges a little bit. Don't do them too hard, just kind of brush at them with your marker. Don't want to make them too harsh. Just trying to make him stand out a little bit more. And you can actually do this with an ink pen if you wanted to. Now, so you get the idea how we're going to do that. So let's do his face. We're going to do his eyes right here where this is bowing out a little bit. And we're going to put those two fingers close to each other. So we want to make one, make the other one. And then we want to do his nose. So I'm going to use my chalk marker for his nose. And for his mouth, let's come down. And we want him to be smiling. So we're going to make his smile go up towards his eyes. I'm going to put him a bow here. So let's give him some whiskers. Now he looks so clean, I'm going to use a dirty brush. And I'm going to just kind of briefly go through there. And just kind of dirty him up a little bit. He just looks way too clean. You can also sand this board, sand him if you wanted to, and give it a little bit of a roughen up. Okay, for his eyes, I'm just taking a little bit of white paint on a skewer, and I'm just going to barely touch. Okay, that takes care of his eyes. Now we need a bow. Okay, for the tail, we're just going to go, I don't know, a couple of inches past his neck there. And this has a wire in it, so I'm going to twist it a couple of times. Right there, unless you want it to have longer tails. Okay, we have our bow on our bunny. Now it's time to sign and date it. Alright, I have this little sign that I have gotten from Dollar Tree. And what we're going to do, I'm actually going to leave this frame green as far as I know. I'm just going to leave it just like it is. However, I'm going to take this piece of burlap and I'm going to cut a carrot out of it. And I just need a small amount. So what I'm going to do is, if I take and go right here and just round off the top of the carrot per se and come back in, and I want this to fit my frame, so whichever frame you select, that's what you want. And I want that carrot to fit right there. Now you can make it perfect if you want to, but I'm going to paint this carrot orange. I know my palette is messy, but this is the Waverly chalk paint that is the actual one that's called pumpkin. And it's just real easy to paint that burlap, and it will just dry super fast. Now I'm going to use some shelf paper to cover that adventure is calling. I'm going to pop this out real quick. Quick, easy, fun little Easter sign. Okay. We've got our board covered with our shelf paper. I'm going to bring my carrot back up here. And we need to maybe, now, I've got some jute twine here. Just some piece of rope that's left over. And I need this to, I want it to be the topper. So I'm actually just going to cross them right there. Okay, I'm going to pick me out a button. And I really like this teal button. It matches my background. I think that's going to be just perfect right there. Now, once we have our jute twine glued down, have our bow into place and our little button, and our little carrot is perfect for display. Now, we've had quite a good time making these three projects. We have our painted board bunny, our picture perfect burlap photographed carrot, and of course our rotating seasonal blocks that you'll be able to use year round. This is Elizabeth saying, till the next DIY, well, I'll be crafting y'all. Bye.